got you like, whoa, the big dog's coming, yeah, the big dog's coming like, whoa, the big dog.
So the last time I did anything maximal was August last year, which is about 10 months ago. From then till now, July, I have been through so many injuries. It's unbelievable, one after another. So to cut a long story short, we don't tell the story at all. But after I competed in August last year, I did a training protocol called CAT, Compensatory Acceleration Training. And I'm not saying that the protocol doesn't work, but I'm suggesting that I misunderstood it completely. So I won't go into the details of the actual workings of the sets and reps and whatnot, but the idea with the form, you go down and then you accelerate up as hard as you can. Then when you hit your sticking point, you get through it, and then you don't just cruise on through to the top of the rep. Once you get through that sticking point, you still accelerate as hard as you can. The mistake I made was thinking that that meant to slam your knees shut as hard as you can. I did that for about 3 months of slamming my knees shut. By the end of that, I had chronic knee pain, and I was starting to get a really severe hip impingement on my left hip. After that training protocol, I then moved on to a training protocol where you would squat 3 to 4 times a week. As you can imagine, this didn't go too well with the injuries I already had sustained. I then did that training protocol for about 3 months. Did that for 2 to 3 months. And by the end of it, I had forgotten what it was like not to have pain in your knees. I had had pain in my knees for so long that I thought it was normal. And I would get it when walking, like just walking, getting out of bed, I would have pain in my knees. And I asked other people, do you have pain in your knees when you walk up the stairs? Like, I had forgotten that that wasn't normal. And I also was getting such a severe hip impingement that the pain was there now all the time. I would lie in bed and I would roll onto that side and it would wake me up from my sleep. That's how bad the pain was. The reason I didn't stop or do anything earlier than 3 months of suffering from this was I was under the impression that your body just needs to adapt. It's just going through a phase. It's suffering now, but it'll learn and it'll get through it. Obviously, that's not intelligent, but I wasn't to know. I thought this was something that the body could adapt to and get over. During this 3 months, something I was getting also, which was really weird, was whenever I would go above 180 kilos in any lower body exercise, I would start getting sharp shooting stabbing pains in my quads. It would happen in both quads equally, and I'd be fine warming up, and then it'd just start getting to the point, 200 kilos going above, and then I'd be fine during the working set. But then once I stopped the rep or the set, the pain would just come. It felt like somebody had got a knife and slowly drove it in. It was excruciating. I tried looking it up, no one could tell me what it was. Come the end of that, I moved to a different suburb in my city, and I went back to an old gym that I first started powerlifting at, Elite Sports Performance. And there, Marty Gervin became my coach, and we started discussing some of these things and these injuries. So I explained all these things to Marty, and at the same time, I started seeing a physio, which people call the guy you go to when you've tried everything else. Now, his name was Andrew Locke. I went to him, and in the first 5 minutes of my session, he had it figured out. It blew my mind. I had spent the better half of a year with all these pains, and he figured it out straight away. So I'll make it real quick. So what he did was he got me on the bench, he got me to do a few movements, all this kind of that mumbo jumbo, and he basically just got me to do some glute activation exercises, and then bam, my hip impingement pain was gone. So I come to understand that the problem was over the long period of time of slamming my knees shut with the squats and things like that, I slowly altered the firing pattern of my muscles during the squat. I had become very quad dominant with the way that I was squatting. And due to this quad dominance and lack of glute exercises, poor glute development, my femur in its socket was being pulled forward by my tight quads. And then this was constantly impinging on my hip. So he got me to do some of the glute activation exercises, and for that small period of time when they were activated, or a bit more tense, or a bit more tight, it pulled the hip back, allowing it to move. So as you can imagine, after speaking with Andrew and now back with Marty, my training for the next few months have been all glute development. I have done so much glute development, I'd make Kim Kardashian jealous of my butt. So after about 2 to 3 months of not doing any squats or deadlifts at all, I slowly started bringing them back in after all the glute development work. My knees have been feeling fantastic. My hip, there is no pain. My quads, whatever the sharp shooting pain was, is gone. And I'm feeling really, really good. So today was the first time that I have deadlifted above 200 with no pain whatsoever. A little bit of a lie. Also, in the last 3 to 4 months, due to bad form on the bench, I've had some chronic bicep tendon inflammation and also injured my AC joint. Of course, you know, if you're going to do one thing, you may as well do everything at once. So that's why today I used straps, just to take a bit of pressure off the bicep tendon and try to offer support where I could. But I'm so happy and so excited to finally be back into proper training. Oh, that I'm ready to rip it all up.